Happy New Year! Before we launch into 2014, a look back at the biggest stories of 2013 and some predictions for the year to come. MiWeek starts right now.
Michigan's turnaround is being powered by things we do better than anywhere else in the world. Today's global leaders routinely turn to Michigan to work on their most difficult problems. That's because the engineering talent in this part of the world is simply the best. So many possibilities lie ahead for Michigan's future. These opportunities are here and starting to happen. The vision for the new Michigan. Share it, talk it up, drive it home. Funding is also provided by Delta.
Hi there and welcome to MiWeek. I'm Christy McDonald. Happy New Year! We trust that you're having a great holiday season with your family and your friends. You know, New Year brings a fresh start, and it was a heck of a 2013 here in Michigan. You could call it historic. So tonight we're going to list off the biggest stories of the year and take a look how they impacted all of us. Plus, we're going to look ahead at what's sure to be making news in 2014. Joining me now are MiWeek contributors Nolan Finley. He is the editorial page editor of the Detroit News, and Stephen Henderson, the editorial page editor of the Detroit Free Press. Gentlemen, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I feel like we need some party hats here.
We need a little bubbly.
And need to pop some champagne,
There was
right?
no Y213K bug.
Right, no. We are safely into 2014 now. But it's always nice to take a look back and to see what 2013 was all about. And before we take a look at the specific stories, so was it a good year? Was 2013 a good year for our state and region?
No, it was a crappy year. Terrible year.
Well, and then we should just probably end the show right now, right? We're done.
I mean, we could sort of look for the silver lining, but
Come on, Nolan. Come on, help me look for the silver. Stephen?
Lucky 13.
Lucky
right?
13. So it was. I would say it was a historic year. It was a historic year for Michigan. Let's be honest.
Yeah, it was a tough
historically bad year.
All right. Okay. The glass definitely is half empty.
I mean, it was a good year
here
in terms of the state's continued economic recovery. We're certainly keep coming ahead. The auto industry keeps progressing. It was a fabulous year for the auto industry.
It absolutely was.
They posted record sales, or sales they haven't seen in 5, 6, 7 years. Really solid profits, and GM got out from under government control. Really good year for the auto industry, which means it was a good year for the state economy. We're adding jobs. People are starting to look at Michigan in a different light. I guess it was just a bad year for the city of Detroit.
I was just going to say, so there's a little bit of sunshine there. And so, Stephen, do you now in 2014 say, glad that year was over?
Yeah, well, I mean, you go back to January of 2013, we didn't even have an emergency manager. We were still talking about whether there might be a second consent agreement.
Were they going to run out of money?
Were they going to run out of money? And, you know, by June, we had an emergency manager, and he was talking about bankruptcy. So, you know, it escalated very quickly, and you know, there wasn't a lot of hopeful stuff to happen unless you see the bankruptcy as hopeful. And I have been a big advocate of saying that, you know, bankruptcy is a step forward, not back. That restructuring makes sense, but
you're stepping forward onto glass with bare feet when you look at some of the repercussions. I mean, we still don't know how it's going to impact retirees, how it's going to impact the Detroit Institute of Art and other city assets. The pain is still very much yet to come in this thing.
All right, so let's go ahead and take a look, because I asked both of you to come up with a list of your top 3 stories from 2013. So let's go ahead and take a look at Nolan's list first. Top stories of 2013. All right, we already started talking about it. We'll get more in depth. Detroit bankruptcy, Duggan's election to be mayor of Detroit. Now that was in terms of politics in Detroit. That stands up there. And then the Obamacare meltdown. All right, so those were Nolan's top 3. And now let's go ahead and take a look at Stephen's top 3. Detroit bankruptcy. All right, this was a gimme year. We all knew what pretty much the number 1 is. The Washington stalemate, which is interesting because I think a lot of people have forgotten about that. And Detroit sports teams fizzle. I've always thought secretly deep down inside you just want to do a sports talk radio show. And that's about it.
Really want to be on 97 Won the Ticket. Just one afternoon.
Just for one day because of our poor Tigers and Lions.
Yeah, Tigers and Lions both just, you know.
U of M?
That one I'm not even going to talk about.
Sorry.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a sports mecca, and 2013 we just couldn't get it done.
All right,
Got
well,
close.
let's go ahead and let's talk about, we already started talking about a little bit about the Detroit bankruptcy, and I think what was interesting what you said, Stephen, about when we started in January, we didn't know what this year was going to hold. And as I look back at even our shows that we did here on MiWeek and talking about yet another historic week for Detroit, will Detroit run out of money? It has really been a staggering year in terms of the financial review team in February came back. All of a sudden, that meeting that the governor said we are going to have an emergency manager, that you were there as well, that we brought to everyone. It really has been an amazing journey to this point, Nolan.
Oh yeah, I mean, nobody could have predicted how this would unfold. Largest municipal bankruptcy in the history of the country. It's just astounding. And Kevin Orr coming in and starting to do some of the things he's done, starting to identify the depth of the problem. I think a year ago we knew things were bad, but until you could start actually seeing it on paper and seeing the depth of the mismanagement, of the financial woes in the city, the mess at the pension funds, you really did reach a conclusion that everything was broken, and you wonder why this bankruptcy didn't come years ago.
And the judge did say that, but I think it is interesting, and until we actually saw the numbers, do you think we needed this process?
Oh, I think we need it. I think a lot of people need that sort of splash of cold water in the face. I mean, we've been in denial a long time in Detroit about the depth and breadth of the problems that we had, and certainly about the historic sort of context of this. I mean, a 60-year decline, if you really take a look at it in terms of population, in terms of the financial position, in terms of the kind of management that we've had in the city. I mean, we really have made a mess of things for a very long time. We had a lot of help doing it. The state was an enabler in that process. The national deindustrialization was a root cause of it. But of course, there are lots of horrible decisions and mistakes made right here in the city of Detroit that kept us on that path, and finally we just hit the point where,
and corruption.
Yeah, corruption. You had to do something. You got to do something different.
Okay, so hindsight is 2020. Obviously, we're in bankruptcy now. But Nolan, when Kevin Orr first came in, did you think that that's where we were going to go?
Oh yeah, I think you just look at his resume. This isn't a government guy. He wasn't a guy who comes in and turns around businesses. He's a guy who takes folks into bankruptcy court. He's very good at it. Hopefully, he'll be very good at it for Detroit. He's still got to negotiate settlements with the creditors. He's still got to make a deal with the pension funds. But this is what he does. I don't think anybody could have looked at that appointment and say, well, maybe we won't go into bankruptcy court. That was a given as soon as his name was mentioned.
Are we in a good position now? When I say we, is the city of Detroit in a good position now?
Well, in terms of the bankruptcy, I think it is. I mean, I think the way municipal bankruptcy is structured, the city holds most of the cards, and if you've got a manager in place who understands how to play those cards, you can restructure your debt and the city operations in a way that will put us ahead. I mean, I think Kevin Orr has taken a lot of hits for a lot of the things that have happened over the last 7 months. Some of them his own making, some stupid stuff that he's said, and the slow pace of change at City Hall. But I think in 2014, people will start to see the real value he brings, which is that he goes into that bankruptcy court and has been there before, understands how to pull the strings, and will really put Detroit in terms of its balance sheet in a position it hasn't been in my lifetime, which is a tremendous gift that I don't think everybody is quite acknowledging.
But the big question is, will it stay that way? I mean, he can do a lot of things. He can fix a lot of problems, and he could leave the city next September with a very good balance sheet and in good financial health. But I'm not sure we still in this city have accepted that a lot of this was our fault. Most of this was our fault, and things have to change. The culture has to change. You can't keep operating the way we have. We've got to shed this entitlement attitude. We've got to stop looking at the city as if it's a job provider and a contract provider instead of a service provider. We have to adopt a culture of good government, of efficient government. I don't know that we're there yet.
Who are you saying that still have those feelings? The residents
The
of Detroit, or
everybody's
people
got to come to the
people who worked
realization.
with the city?
Everybody. I mean, everybody's got to come to the realization that we are in a very bad shape. And this city was insolvent. You still have these clueless folks out in front of the courthouse saying, screw the banks, not us. And, you know, the banks are going to walk out of here probably with less than 80% or less than 20% of what the city owes them. And you still have people thinking, oh gosh, the bank should write some big check to get us out of this. Well, that's not really how banks work. We've got to come to reality that the responsibility for fixing this rests with Detroit.
Let me ask you this, Stephen. Do you think Detroit has been treated fairly in the national media during this entire process, this last year of consent agreement, emergency manager, and now going into bankruptcy?
Well, there's been a lot of...
Is the region's story being told accurately?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of sloppy work that's being done. You know, it's very difficult to come in to Detroit from someplace else, spend a couple days and get the picture right. I mean, it's a very complicated story with an enormously important history. Not everybody has told that story, I think, accurately. I think, you know, I think we have done a better job this year, local media, of telling Detroit's story than perhaps we ever have. I mean, the bankruptcy really has inspired some of the deepest journalism at both papers that I've seen ever, in terms of telling the story about this place and the people who are here, the neighborhoods, the industry, the government, how all of this sort of worked together to get us into this.
But we're thin-skinned here, and we have an unrealistic expectation of what people should be seeing when they come here. We want these out-of-town press to get off the plane, come downtown and say, oh, wow, you got a Starbucks in Midtown. Well, these people go to other cities where there's not, where that's sort of a routine thing, you know? And we get excited if a pancake shop opens on Jefferson, and that's not really what people see if you're visitors here. You see the huge abandoned buildings that remain in the core of downtown. You see that god-awful train station sitting out there. You see the blight, and it's hard for people not to notice. We tend to squint and not see it all because we're used to it.
I know,
it's hard from out-of-towners not to notice.
If I see another story with the picture of the train
Yeah,
station.
well, but I did think, I thought a sort of key moment in the national narrative about Detroit was when Bob Simon of 60 Minutes came and did his piece. And I thought he was an interesting person to do it because he spent most of his career overseas, right, in war-torn third world countries. And so his perspective when he came to Detroit was that, comparing this city to places where, you know, people are shelling buildings and things like that. And he said, and he got a lot of flack for this, he said it reminded him of Mogadishu, which is the capital of Somalia, which is a really desperately awful place. I think that's important for people here to hear. That's not a disingenuous statement on his part. That's what the place looks like to him, because he's been in Mogadishu and he's been in Sarajevo and all these places where things look desperate. That's what this feels like in Detroit. If you live in the city and operate in it every day, it is a desperate place, and it seems like a third world war-torn city. So we got to start facing up to that and start saying, change the picture, change what we're doing, and change the way it feels so that we can change the narrative. I mean, the story follows reality to some extent.
Two other things that I want to get to real quick when we're talking about 2013. One, let's just touch quickly on the mayoral election in Detroit and the fact that Mike Duggan, he was on the ballot, he was off the ballot, he was back on, now he's a write-in, now he was back on the ballot, and he won.
It was crazy. It was an election that could only happen here. I mean, because look, a guy won a write-in campaign, that never happens, and then you had all of these suits challenging the vote count, and nobody knew whether first Duggan won by 30 points, and then Benny won by 5 points. I mean, it was just complete craziness throughout. But at the end of the day, a white suburbanite was elected mayor in the city with the highest percentage of African-American residents in the nation. That's remarkable.
Oh yeah, I mean it's historic, right? And who would have predicted again that this that it could happen. You know, the day that he got kicked off the ballot, even Mike Duggan was saying, well, you know, that's
I'm
it.
done. I think I'm good. I
packed
think
up.
we're
It's
going
all.
to take a
This is going
step
to
back.
work. And he, you know, clawed his way back in and got people to figure out how to write his name properly on the ballot, which almost nobody's been able to do in any community.
I know,
Yeah,
major
but
writing
give,
campaign.
you know, give Cindy Paskey a lot of credit for this. She was the one who stood up, public meeting, and said, let's support Mike Duggan in a write-in campaign. Mike Duggan hadn't even thought of a write-in campaign.
Right.
And and when he first heard her say it, he said, like everybody else, are you nuts? But she put the money up, and others started putting the money up, and you know, it took about 2 weeks, but they convinced him to come back and try it. And I don't think he even believed it was possible.
All right, two other things, kind of both of you put in the Washington stalemate, the government shutdown, and also Obamacare. And that's two things that you guys have fought about, probably the most two things, bitterly
wrestled
on
about
this
it again in
show. There has been some elbows
Grease up,
thrown
Steve.
on both sides. Stephen, do you really think people are going to remember the shutdown?
Well, I mean, I think the shutdown is emblematic of a much bigger stalemate that's gone on in Washington for a very long time. Now, at the end of the year, we saw, I think, some daylight in there. We've got this sort of core group of, I think it's 14 senators and representatives who are working together, who came up with a budget deal that everybody seemed to say, all right, well, it doesn't solve all of our problems, but it solves some of the immediate issues. And now let's keep talking about some of these other things. So I think 2013 might end up being the year that we sort of about face on that and walk away from the cliff of, you know, of economic disaster every 6 months and start governing again.
The rollout of Obamacare was abysmal.
Oh,
Everyone can probably agree with that.
And that's just the first step of its abysmalness. I think if the only problem was the rollout, they might survive this. But you're seeing people who didn't expect to be dumped off policies getting dumped off policies. You see people with private insurance seeing their premiums double, triple, seeing their deductibles go way up. 2014, you're going to see the repricing of policies, and it'll be interesting to see if the anger continues, if the frustration continues, or if the administration finds another way to postpone the full impact till after the elections.
All right, one thing that you guys both left off your list that I'm going to have to put on the bottom would be Kwame Kilpatrick's conviction. Guilty, guilty, guilty.
Yeah.
I think that was a huge, and again, look at everything we're talking about that happened in 1 year.
Yeah.
And he was a guy we both know very well.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think at one time we both thought he was a swell guy,
Yeah.
right? And, you know, 32 years, was it, did he end up with 32 years?
I think it's 32?
32
28,
years
32.
in
So it's over. You don't ever have to mention his name again, correct?
Well, it's over for his life's over. I mean, he's going to be older than
He'll
me
be an old
when he gets
man.
out of prison.
He will be an old man when he gets out of prison. That's
And
that's
not,
unfortunate.
Yeah.
and that's not something to celebrate. I mean, he deserved it. I mean, he absolutely deserved it. They still don't know where about $1 billion is. And, you know, they don't know if it's in his pocket or somebody else's or just squandered. But he was a young man with tremendous potential, had a family, and it is the most wasteful situation I think I've ever seen.
All right, well, let's move forward now. Now that we're in 2014, let's look ahead. Let's grab our magic 8-ball. I didn't bring my magic 8-ball in, which usually gives me so many.
8-ball, cue ball. You say
the
you
ball
can't
jokes
talk
begin.
too bad.
All right, let's go ahead and take a look at what your predictions are for 2014. Nolan, watch for Detroit restructuring and also the Michigan governor and the Senate races and the impact of Obamacare. We already talked about that a little bit. So Stephen, what did you say to watch for? Detroit's resurgence, elections, and Michigan's economic recovery. See, I like to tell people that I think you guys agree on a whole lot more than you disagree on.
Don't be telling people that.
Which is very,
because you got
it's
secrets we
very
could talk
interesting.
about.
Exactly.
We
Don't
certainly agree on bourbon.
you guys do agree on bourbon. All right, but I want to
That's
talk
important.
about the election year. We're going to have gubernatorial election and filling Carl Levin's Senate seat.
Filling Michigan's Senate seat.
Okay, well, the seat that Carl Levin has
Carl
held
Levin's-
Yeah, but it don't
has
belong
been
to
his
him.
seat for a very long time.
It doesn't
Most
belong
of
to
my
him, and
life.
as much as Democrats would like to think, it doesn't belong to them either. And I think
So
this
here's
is
the
gonna
first
be,
here's the first swings from
I think
Nolan
it's gonna
of
be
the
an
of the election
extraordinarily
year.
competitive race, very expensive race. Money will pour in here from on both sides, from all over the country. This could be a $50 million or more Senate race, and that's just incredible. But Terry Lynn Land's off to a good start. Gary Peters thought he would have a much easier ride on the Democratic side, but I think she's proven she's going to give him a good campaign.
Does the thought of $50 million being spent on an election make anybody else but
Maybe
me ill?
double that.
Yeah, I mean it's not a great thing, and again, you know, this is part of the problem with campaign financing is a lot of that money we won't know where it comes from. People will be able to give it and be anonymous, which I think is something we still need to fix. I think Nolan's right. It's going to be a more competitive race than we thought. It'll come down to Oakland County, like almost all statewide races do. I think Gary has a tremendous advantage in that's where he lives. I also think he has a tremendous advantage in that he's been through the fire 3 or 4 times now. I mean, every time for Gary Peters, it's, oh my gosh, it's a tight race. He might not pull it out. This guy has learned to fight and to campaign.
He's lost the only statewide race he was ever in.
He did lose it. That was what, 10, 12 years ago?
He lost. I mean, she's won 2 statewide races with going away numbers.
He's had to fight every time in one of the
gonna
most
be a good
competitive
campaign.
districts.
It's going to be a good campaign.
In the state. It's going to be a good campaign. You know, again, when's the last time Republicans won a Senate seat in Michigan? You got to go back 15 years.
When's
Abraham?
the last time Democrats blew up your health insurance? People are going to be angry. People are going to be
Health insurance thing.
extraordinarily angry.
These are all great
This
questions.
is the
Anger
classic Republican
moves-
short game, right?
And anger moves voters.
It's always about the short game. It's that people are mad now, so that's going to matter in 12 months.
I
They're
don't
not
think people
looking at-
remember by the time
want-
that they get
And
there.
the
I
impact's
really
still
don't.
going to be hitting them. It's going to
But
get
here's what-
worse over the summer
But here's
and fall.
here's what Republicans still haven't come up with. What's the alternative?
And they
you want to
certainly
go back
have.
to the old system
They
where you
certainly
kick
have.
people off
And that,
for being
that
sick?
is the standard Democratic talking
Well,
point. Republicans have
the
put
talking
a
point that
plan,
people vote
put a
on.
plan on the table, introducing more competition to the system, allowing you to sell policies across state lines.
That's a good idea.
Tax credits for individuals,
That's
the
not a
same
bad
as for
idea.
business. There's a lot of good
They'll
ideas
put
that
some
were
of that
left out
stuff
of this plan.
and some of that stuff, but most of the stuff that Republicans suggested got put in the plan, including the
it
exchanges.
absolutely did not.
Okay, well, I think that's very interesting that we were talking about the Senate race, and then all of a sudden you guys took that
we go to
opportunity to
healthcare.
start fighting about health care. But that's
That's
okay.
going to be a key-
That's
a
okay.
key
It is going to
issue
be. It is going to be a key issue.
But who knows?
next
Unless
year.
we find ourselves at war with somebody else, you never know what's going to happen over
Right.
the course of a year.
Okay, so let's talk about the gubernatorial race. Rick Snyder hasn't even really totally officially announced that he's
He hasn't
running again,
announced.
but
Well, he's running.
Which is kind of funny because Shower's been out there, 6 months now as an official
time.
candidate. And
Since
Rick's
Mackinac.
saying,
Didn't
hey,
he-
you
he-
know,
he
yeah, he did it
declared
at
Mackinac.
Mackinac, so it's longer. Rick Snyder's out there saying, well, maybe I'll do it in January, February. I got to figure it out. I don't want to be too long campaigning. I mean, he is the.
but he's got the job, so he's
completely-
got the job right now, so he's got
yeah,
the
but
advantage.
he's got the job with a lot of people, gunning for him, and he does it. He's taking it so nonchalant.
You know, the truth is, if you look at the numbers and his approval ratings, which are nowhere near 50%, this is a guy who's vulnerable. But you got to have a candidate to run against him. You got to have somebody who has name recognition and money and a strong platform.
base.
Is that Mark Schauer? Right now, it looks like a tough sell. I wouldn't count him out. Mark is a very bright guy, was a good representative in Congress. He's got to get his name out there more. He's got to get his ideas out there more, and not just here's what I don't like about Rick Snyder, but here's what I do
Well, he's
differently.
got to
This
have
is
some
what I wanna
ideas
do.
first before he can get him out, and he's been just woefully short of that. What he's mostly done is whatever the governor's for, he's against. I don't think that's going to play.
think in the early
in this
time,
election.
in the early
and he's
months,
going to be
that's
running
okay.
against an economic recovery. Have you ever seen anybody win running against an economic recovery?
Well, let's talk about that economic recovery, because that was one of the things that you put on to watch out for
I mean,
this year.
I do think that with the year that the autos had last year, really, you're talking about 3 companies turning the corner. We're back at what, at 12, 13 million units?
No.
Or
We'll
is
be
it
well over
15?
15. It should top 16. next
Yeah, I mean, nobody could have predicted those kind of numbers back in 09 when we were, reorganizing
Right.
the companies, and our economy still moves with manufacturing, and manufacturing is driven in this state by autos. So I think this could be the year that we start to see it really break open instead of just
All
sort
right,
of
last
soaring.
word, Nolan.
Ford just announced, 3,200 new white-collar workers, really good jobs, most of them in this state. GM announced $1 billion of new
Of
investment
investment.
in this state. It looks really, really positive for Michigan going out.
See, look at that. We had a year 2013, and
Well,
let's hope that
it's a
2014.
question of who's responsible for it, right? He'd say
well,
Snyder deserves the credit. I'd say the president does.
He's the man sitting there.
And I'm still so glad to know in 2014 you still disagree. Thanks, guys. Happy New Year. And that is going to do it for MiWeek. Thanks so much for joining us. Happy New Year to you. And make sure that you're part of our MiWeek family this year. Find us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. You can find shows that you missed at MiWeek.org. I'm Christy McDonald. Have a great weekend. We will see you next week. Take care.
Business Leaders for Michigan is dedicated to making Michigan a top 10 state for jobs, personal income, and economic growth. Learn more at businessleadersformichigan.com. Funding is also provided by Delta.